Today we're gonna make a small tutorial about stairs. I already have exported all the data that we need for today, so I will already start with the import of my data. I have here JPEGs, TIFFs of my geometry. I have line drawings exported as DWGs. You can do that in different ways in Rhino as well as SketchUp. So we're going to open a new Illustrator file with the dimensions of 3000 by 4000 pixel. We're gonna drop in our landscape DWG, save it as a new file, and do the same with all the other line drawings as well. For those, we are gonna first of all place this JPEG in the background, so we have the dimensions we want to scale the line drawings to. Once my JPEG is positioned, I can open all remaining DWGs. I can copy and paste them into my artboard. There's actually an option to preserve all the layers when you paste them. And I will now position the lines so they actually fit and match to the background image. Then I'm gonna change the color of the lines as well as the stroke width. So the stroke of the edges is gonna be 0.25. The contour is going to be 0.75, and then I'm going to clean up all the lines that are not necessary. And that's about it. Then we're going to save that and do the same with the next DWG, which are the stairs. We're going to copy, paste them, change the line color, change the stroke width, and save it as a new file. Gonna adjust it to the image in the background. I think there might be a better way to do that as well, to export it with a frame, so you can adjust simply the frame to the right size. And I'm actually not sure if I'm gonna finally use this now as like if I use the stairs in my final composition. I think always when you have lines, it makes it very nice and crisp. However, sometimes it might be just too much, right? There's a lot of line work going on here that might be just like overwhelming the whole composition. So we're gonna do the same with the shell of the facade. So open it, copy, paste, again, change color and stroke width. Great, so now that we have all the Illustrator files saved, we're gonna open a new composition in Photoshop, same size, 3000 by 4000 pixel. We're gonna paste in all of our Illustrator files. So we will overlay them and they will actually become smart objects. So every time we are going to change something in the Illustrator file, it will automatically update in the Photoshop file, which is just a fantastic way to work. I'm actually going to do the same with my background image, as I have it already positioned in Illustrator. I'm just going to save it as a new file and then paste it into my Photoshop composition, so it fits perfectly in the right size. Just change the order, so move it down in the order on the right in the layers. And then I'm gonna take the magic wand on the left side. I'm gonna choose all the black areas and mask them out with a layer mask. Great, okay, so what we need now is a color scheme. I like to always work with a color scheme, keeps me consistent and kind of gives me an idea where I want to head towards. I like to use colors or coolers, or I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Great platform to find a lot of different color compositions that you probably wouldn't come up by yourself. So if you go to Explore, you can find like tons of schemes that you can just take and use. Usually I like this one, I'm just choosing one and then I adjust it to my liking. When you press space here, you will get like new random variations of colors, or you can also change it and customize the color scheme manually. So I'm gonna paste the scheme into my Photoshop collage. The only thing that we're still missing now is a background. So I'm just typing in free paper texture. Take the first best one. It really doesn't matter. I mean, you just need some texture, something that, so the background is not just plain white. I'm gonna drop it into my collage, add a adjustment layer. You need to check this little checkbox of colorize. and then I'm trying to adjust the color of this background according to my color scheme that I have chosen. And I'm doing the same with the image of the building. So I'm trying to achieve like some sort of brown tone. I think that looks a bit, I don't know, sad. So I think maybe let's switch it a little bit up. Add a little bit of green tones. So this is how it looked before, and that's how it looks afterwards. So now we're gonna add the staircase on top of that. So I've exported the staircase as a separate TIFF, makes it much more easy to work with. Gonna just adjust the size, and then we're gonna mask the image. So we're gonna mask out the areas that are not visible due to the fact that it's occluded by the building. Now we're gonna create a new layer mask. Take a brush with the color black and paint out all the areas which are not gonna be visible. We don't have to be too precise about that, because in the next step, we're gonna paint over the section area a color gradient or a fill color. So now we're gonna choose the pen tool. We're gonna select all the geometry that has been cut by our two section planes. And then we're gonna fill this area with a solid brown. So something you wanna take care of with the section is that you take a lighter and a darker color to color it. So that makes it look much more three-dimensional. So now here on the top, I'm taking a darker color. As you can see, it looks much better. And I'm gonna repeat all of that with all the other section surface. All right, so that looks already pretty good. Now we're gonna mask out the lines that won't be visible in our graphic or shouldn't be visible. So as you can see, I have this ring in the background there. I'm gonna create a layer mask on this layer. I'm gonna take the brush with a black color and paint out all the areas that should not be visible. I'm also gonna try to redraw some of the curves. I'm gonna take the pen tool, redraw the path, right-click stroke path, and that's it. So every axonometric or isometric drawing should at least consider a nice fat contour line around the main object. So for the contour lines, there are multiple ways to achieve them. Because I have a black background behind my image, I'm gonna do it with the Magic Wand tool. So I select Magic Wand and I select all the black areas. Then I right-click Refine Edge, and there's a menu popping up on the right side. There are actually essentially two values that I care about. It's feather and shift edge. So for feather, I type in +2 pixel, and for shift edge, I type +100%. That gives me a nice thick edge around my building, which just makes it pop very nicely. Okay, last but not least, I'm gonna overlay now the facade lines, and then we're gonna move on to the trees. Okay people, so on the right side I have already prepared a tree that I'm going to use for my artwork. On the left side I'm showing you how I did it. So I simply created a new layer, I painted in the tree branches, and on top of it the leaves. If you go to Google, you can find a lot of brushes for free that you can use. Then I simply took the same tree, scaled it in different sizes, and then arranged it in the background. I figured that if they are actually with an opacity of 100%, it looks way too heavy and dense. So I changed each tree's opacity to a maximum of 40%. And so it doesn't look like watercolor. I actually added an outline. So I simply selected the tree with the Magic Wand tool, converted the selection to an outline, and yeah, looks much better, I think. So that's about it. And the only thing that is still missing are the people. So I'm gonna take them from an Illustrator file, copy paste them into this file, position them in the right size, and finish the project. Okay, so I hope this tutorial was useful to you. If so, please hit the like button. You know the drill, it will be really helpful to me. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section. I'm happy to answer every single one of you. So I have been absent for quite a while now, and the reason for that is that there were some family matters that had to be sorted out. All good now. We're gonna keep going with the channel. We're gonna keep going, making videos. Some very exciting times ahead. Next episode is gonna be a book review, so stay tuned. Very exciting book for architects, a must-have, or in my opinion, a must-have for any student out there. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching and see you next time.